Okay. So what we will do is let's wait for 1 more minute. We'll start in a minute, or else we'll give 2 more minutes. We'll start by 4:3 or 4:5. Okay. So anyone outside India? Yes. Okay. Wait. This is the first time we are trying to do a virtual meeting using Adobe's platform called Baby. So we were trying to figure out what's happening, where to go and enable the chat, how I can enable the question and answer session and everything. We have done a pilot round, but still we were unable to conclude one decision that how the participant can join and how we can interact. So mostly everything will get resolved in 2 minutes, right? We can start. And let me see whether there is an option to enable or give anybody any access. I can see there are 20 people, which is good. So yeah, let's start sharp by 4:5. Vinod, are you here?
Yes, Arun.
Okay,
I'm
then
there.
good.
Yeah.
Hello, Hemant. Hi. Okay, 1 more minute, guys. I know that it is a busy Thursday, and we have booked the slot for like nearly 2 hours. Unfortunately, we cannot shrink it to 1 hour. The reason is because we have a lot of housekeeping slides as always, and I really want to talk about some of the important highlights in Adobe Summit as well before even getting into the mobile implementation demo. So, which means I need to touch upon the introduction, and then we need to shift around for Summit 2025 highlights, and then we need to go for implementation demo. And we know whenever there is an implementation demo or whenever we say demo, then a lot of things will happen. You know that. So we thought that okay, rather than going for like 1 hour or 1.5 hour, very short time period, let's book for 2 hours, and then let's see how it goes. Right, that is the idea. Okay, it's 4:05. Let's begin our session. And once again, guys, thank you so much for joining the Deccan Adobe Analytics user group. This is Meetup 2, and it is virtual, right? You know that. Before even getting into anything related to the slide or any of the housekeeping slides, right? I just want to introduce today's speakers. Quickly go and introduce myself. Myself, Pradeep Arunraj. I'm an enterprise architect in Nextdoor Digital. I have 14 plus years of experience in analytics, optimization, data management platform, and for the past 5 years, it is mostly revolving around CDP. From the Adobe advocacy program, I was part of multiple Adobe advocacy programs. One of the advocacy program is this, which is user group. but I'm 2x Adobe Analytics champion, and then Adobe Community Advisor, which was back around 2017, and then certification portal ambassador, since because I'm holding at least a few quite a certification for now. So these are some of the Adobe advocacy programs I was part of. And I have my own blog portal as well, which is Trainer Internet Analytics. Most of you guys know about it, but even not, right? I have my own blog. And then yes, my passion is mostly about Adobe Experience Cloud solution, and I take a lot of classes and work around with all you guys, right? Most of the people who joined, I have interacted with you, and I have pleasure meeting you all, right? So I have two children. One is my son name is Winter, my daughter name is River. And the fun fact is, I'm a short-term memory loss patient. Most of the time, whatever I discuss, whatever I remember, I will try to forget in like next 10 to 15 minutes. Until otherwise, I put some effort to keep everything in mind. It will be just vanishing from my memory. So that's the fun fact. I will pass it to Vinod so that he can do a quick round of introduction, and then we can move on.
Thanks, Arun. Hi everyone. So let me just give a brief intro about myself. So I'm Vinod, uh, implementation architect. I work at Jerago. So I have like 10 years of experience in digital analytics. So I'm certified master in both analytics and Adobe Target. And I'm well versed in the latest trends like server side tagging and everything because I've completed projects related to that recently, and I'm skilling up in Adobe Experience platform also now. So both CJA or RTCDP. So I'm skilling up on that one, and I'm also like mentoring my juniors and everything. So yeah, that's a brief about myself.
Thanks, Vinod. Okay, so since because introduction is sorted, let's quickly get into the important and what I would say is right. I was calling out this particular topic multiple times in my LinkedIn, right, and I was searching it internally in my separate forums and lot of these, right. So before even getting into the agenda, I just want to open this opportunity for all these people, right, who joined here. And if at all you are not joined here, that is also completely fine. But we are looking out for a user group leader. So right now, this Deccan Analytics user group has been led by only two, but we are at least searching for one more leader who can participate and who can share their expertise along with us. Most of the time, whenever we going for any of these virtual or even uh, in-person meetups, uh, we are trying to give away a lot of things. We are trying to teach, or we are trying to share a lot of thought process, but still we also require some sort of learning. And these particular thought leadership has to be expanded across multiple platforms, right? So we are also really wanting and searching for a user group leader. So what it needs to become a user group leader is nothing that you just know the Adobe stuff, right? If at all you are good in Adobe Analytics, because it's Adobe Analytics user group. So if you are good in Adobe Analytics, and if you love to take some topics, if you uh, love in terms of like teaching, love in terms of sharing your thoughts, right, all these things, then please reach out to me. So there are a few other criterias which I just want to highlight. One is definitely related to community participation, right. So if at all you are participating in community or engaging in community, and you are showing thought leadership in the community, then it is going to be the perfect opportunity for you. And then when, if at all you are fine, if at all you are already in the community, then you need to spend at least 20 hours in a month. That's what we are doing. Not even 20, I would say lesser than that. But that particular commitment is required, because we will be doing a lot of activities, a lot of um, lot of meetings, discussion with the Adobe team, and lot of other things, right? And so we would need at least 20 hours in a month, I would say, right? So if at all you are really ready, and if at all you think that, hey, I'm the one, I want to be here, right, then please ping us. Most of you know about our mail ID. Even if there is no mail ID, right, you can send it to Adobe Analytics user group mail ID, where we can have a discussion and see whether we can onboard you as a user group leader. So the first important information that the ask here is, yes, if at all you are ready to become a user group leader, please ping us. We will take the discussion way forward. Getting into the agenda. So there are three important topics which we want to cover today. One is the introduction, and then the highlights of the previous meetup. The reason we want to touch this is because we have some of the primary housekeeping slides that is important for the user group, as well as last time when it was an in-person meeting, we went on with the activity where we took all the input from all these leaders, all these people, right? All the architects, reporting people, right? Everyone, and we came up all these topics, whichever we are discussing or going to discuss today, is from them. So I want to give a quick highlights on the first meetup as well, and then which means for the first half an hour it is going to be an introduction, and 4:30 we will start something from the Adobe Summit 2025 recap. So I have attended Adobe Summit 2025 in person. So there are a lot of learnings, a lot of things which went on. So I just want to just go on to give you an highlights of 2025, not really from the demo point of view or sneak point of view, from the jazzy and the high level point of view, right? But I want to get in depth to some of the important topic which has been introduced, some of the important topic that has been touched, right? So I really want to go into that and see whether these understanding is there with all of you. Even if it is not, let's learn together, let's recap it together, right? So that is the first half an hour, which means first 1 hour I'm going to be talking. That is what I'm going to do. And next 1 hour, which will be starting from 5 o'clock, we will see AEP mobile SDK implementation in action. So this is one of the important topic which at least 2 to 3%, right, during the activity we thought that people are asking for. I have implemented Adobe Analytics for web and have done a lot of things, which is completely fine. But for mobile applications, it's because there is a problem in terms of like validation, even in terms of implementation, the web SDK changes, right? So multiple things happened. So the request from multiple users is show me, tell me, or give me, right, give me a view on how to implement AEP mobile SDK for our app, right? That is one of the ask, and we heard you, right? So that is why this particular topic, right, we have taken it, and 1 hour we will get into it. Everything is from 5 o'clock. It will be not like sharing any screens. It is about we are going to share screens and show you from the start what are the steps, how to create a schema, how to build your mobile tags, and then getting into your app, and how to put the code, where to put the code, right? How to send event, right? How it is, how using assurance you validate it, right? So all these things will start at 5, which means if at all you want to directly see mobile SDK in action, then we have 1 more hour. So if at all you go back and come, you can go. Just kidding. Okay. So please be here. So at least to cover Summit 2025 as well. Okay. Getting into the first portion of it. So DAUG launch. So this particular user group has been launched last month, and we have conducted our first user group in Chennai. So before even getting into the highlights of user group Chennai, which is last month, I want to start with what is Adobe user group is all about. If you ask me in one line what is user group, then I would say it is like a user led group with the support of Adobe, where we discuss real things. When I say real things, no marketing, no gimmicks, right? We just talk about what is there in Adobe stack, what are the problems which we are facing, what are the solutions which can help us in terms of solving all those problems, and then how we within internally, right? Because we are going to talk all these technical related stuff, then it is a perfect platform for you to engage with your co-leaders, engage with your co-buddies, right? Engage with all the people who work with Adobe Stack. So that is what the user group program is all about, and the objective is revolving around the same. It is nothing but it is providing the space for all the Adobe product users where we can interact and improve our skills. The second one is, since because most of us here are also Adobe customers as well as Adobe partners, we can showcase our use cases and showcase our expertise in a bigger group to ensure that, right, we are building a brand, right? That is very important for us. And the last one is, yes, learning, always continuing, and learning is a never stop one, and we just need to continue to learn, right? So in terms of Adobe user group, right now we have it for 4 different products. We have for analytics, we have a marketer, we have AEM, and we have for workfront, right? So these are the 4 Adobe user group right now we have. And Adobe is already trying to expand this particular user group to other product as well. So soon you can see something from AEP, right, which is CJA or RTCDP or AJO, but I will also count on it. Then the user group rules, if at all you are participating in the user group rules, then these are some of the things which we need to follow. So definitely we are not going to self-promote, we are not going to pitch, we are not going to market anything, rather it is going to be a purely a technical discussion. And this entire 2 hours of virtual program would be recorded. So if at all you don't want to participate in the recording, you can just go and see this recording after this particular recording completed or after the session, so that you won't participate in this particular recording, right? And by the end of this particular session, if you have any questions, and even I said that we are also expecting, or we are also trying to get one user group leader. If at all you want to discuss more about that, please always message to advocacy@adobe.com. We are here and we can definitely help you to get the answer out. And getting into the user group events, there are some of the other user group events which you want to participate and which is very useful for you from the technical point of view, which is we have Adobe Analytics Champion user group. One is especially for Americas and other one is for EMEA and APAC. If at all you have a outstanding question, if at all there is a question you have asked in Adobe community and you didn't get the answer, and you want really those answers to be right heard from some of the expert, then I would definitely appreciate you to go and join this particular user groups, where you can directly ask the question in the chat, or you can submit the questions to them even before that particular session, so that they can get the answer for you. So Adobe Champion user group officers is meant for that, and every month this will be conducted. And if you have any outstanding question in Adobe Analytics, then that is the right forum. And then we also have on April 30th, we also have something on the Adobe Summit once again. So I'm going to talk about many things today, but I'm not going to deep dive on anything related to AI agents or anything related to brand concierge or else any new introduction. So if at all you want to get in depth related to some of the AI related or agent AI, which is on top of AEP, then you should never miss this, which is on April 30th. So moving to the next point, so Adobe Experience League community. So we started about Adobe Analytics user group, which is where we are in right now. But there are 2 other Adobe programs which might get or which might pull you in, right? Which is Adobe Analytics or Adobe Experience League community, as well as Adobe Champions program. So Adobe Experience League community, most of us know, because I can see that there are multiple people are from community, and few of the Adobe community advisor also joined this particular call, right? You know about Adobe community well, but for the newcomers who are like very new to Adobe community is nothing but a one-stop solution where you can go and learn about Adobe Analytics product and engage with your peers in terms of all these Adobe Analytics products. So if you have any questions, if at all you want to train something, get trained in something, if at all there is any documentation you need to refer, so that is a one-stop where we can get into Adobe Experience League as well as community, where we can get to know everything. So Adobe Experience League, in addition, they have multiple programs that they are conducting, right? One of the things is Adobe a community advisor program, where if at all you are really interested, you are providing value to the community based on your contribution and everything. So yearly, globally, Adobe is picking few people where they can badge you as community advisor. It's like showing your thought leadership. There are also mentorship program. If at all you are really interested in terms of any of the certifications, you want to give the certifications, then mentorship program will be really useful. And there is also Tuesday Tech Bytes, where you can just go and understand, right, technicalities, or I would say that series of blog posts where it can cover multiple Adobe products. It's like a series of blog posts, right? That is Tuesday Tech Bytes. And then we have Experience League Showcase, where your real-time implementation or real-time use cases can be showcased, and a good implementation or good use case can get the recognition as well. And the recently Raj one is the fresh perspective, where it is also like it is also like a blog, but rather than it is like a series, right? So what it will do is it will have a thought leadership, right? Multiple people work together to create one particular blog as a combined team. So that is first perspective. So which means with all these programs and all these Adobe Experience League community works, right? So there are multiple benefits which you can reap. So some of the benefits are you can directly have a call with Adobe Analytics product team, engineering team, right? And you will get vouchers for your certification. And if at all you want to participate in any of our beta sneaks and everything, you always get into all these things. And if at all you are selected as community advisor of any of these events, then you would have your own Adobe personalized swag and all the headshots, right? So it is for your own technical branding, I would say. So Adobe Experience League community, one of the game changer for me during my earlier days. I cannot stress enough. This is how everything started during 2017, and over the period of time, it went on to a different elevation because we started interacting with people, and yeah, I'm also this year also we have mentorship program. So whenever mentorship program is on, definitely I will share it in my LinkedIn as well, so that people can participate and people can get use of it, right? Definitely I will share it. Okay, with said Adobe Experience League community, let me move on to Adobe Champions program. So what is Champions program? Adobe community or Experience League community is mostly about community driven, and then it is about contributions, right? So Adobe Champions program focused on high skill thought leadership people across each product, and Adobe is recognizing them as a champion, right? So this particular program is like every year there will be open nominations where you can go and submit yourself or nominate yourself for this Adobe Champions program, so that if at all you are getting elected, that has a exclusive benefits and lot of things it has, right? So which means if at all you are recognized as Adobe champion, then it is like a strong advocacy for you, right? So you are an established leader by yourself if at all you are selected. That is how prestigious it is, right? So Adobe Champions program, it is like global, only 40 people per year across three different products right now, which is Adobe Analytics, Experience Manager, as well as Adobe Marketo Engage. So every year this program will kick off, and there will be a big meetup which will happen on San Jose, where you can go interact with all your industry leaders, go to Adobe headquarters, interact with Adobe team directly, right? A lot of things which you can do from the Adobe Champions program, right? So make sure that if at all you want to apply for Adobe Champions program, nominations will be open. I guess within next 2 to 3 months, nomination will be open and the results will be somewhere around given out during August. That's my understanding. If that is the case, if you are really interested, please go and apply for it. Even if you are not interested, what I would say that don't self-reject, go and apply for it and see. But what I would say that if at all you are really working with the community, you have your own blog, you are creating contents, you have certifications, you have multiple other advocacy things in Adobe, what I would say is just go apply for it and see, right, whether you are able to get into that prestigious suite, right? So please go and apply for it. Then with all the housekeeping slides, right, let me move on to 5 minutes roll back about our DAAUG quick off, which was on 22 February. So we started and we thought that okay, we would kick off this Adobe Analytics user group for the Indian region. But then we thought that okay, rather than India, let's go and restrict ourselves to the entire Deccan Plateau, because we thought rather than going for like all the north, it will be really tougher for us, because we don't want to run this particular program or particular user group just in virtual. We want to go, we want to meet in person, we want to meet a lot of people, and we want to create a platform for the people who can interact and who can gel along, right? So we want to create a platform. So we don't want to create only for a Chennai people, rather we want to create it for the entire Deccan, right? So that's why the name is right now Deccan Adobe Analytics. We are planning for multiple meetups, in-person meetups, not in Chennai, Might be our next meetup would be on Bangalore, right? And then we are also planning for Hyderabad, and possible we can also plan for Cochin, right? So we were trying to cover a lot of places in-person meeting, and every in-person meeting there would be a virtual meeting as well, so that one in-person, one virtual per quarter, right? That is the plan. So we have initiated our Chennai kickoff last month, and if you see the turnaround, there are more than 60 participants who showed up for the user group on the day, which is what I would say, which is nearly more than 60% of the people who register, because we made sure that our communication is clear enough that it is going to be on Chennai. It is going to be, which means you can only register people from Chennai can only participate, but we thought in that fashion and we have promoted everything. But we also got participants who came from Chennai, who came from Bangalore, who came from Mumbai, right? So multiple participants who came from other states as well and participated. So it was a huge success last time. More than 60%, 60 plus participant for Adobe Analytics user group. This is the first time I believe. So we were like super happy, and the percentage turnout is also more than 60 percentage, which is a very good number if at all we consider all the history, right? And then there was a complete interactive session. We were somewhere, there was somewhere around 6 interactive session, starting with this introduction, and then we moved on to AEP, we moved on to CJA, and then we moved on to something related to Adobe Analytics, and then we had an interactive session related to all these integrations, because we want to cover a lot of AEM and campaign as well. So a lot of things which went on, and we had a user group activity where we want to get the input from all you people, and then put our planning in such a way for the next user group. Even all the topics that has been taken today is based on your inputs only, right? That's what that in the slider. So we had an activity where we got all these inputs from you, and we started this, and we planned for this particular session. So this is our quick overview or quick snapshot on our last after the session complete, right? We thought that we would take a group photo, and this is the photo. If at all you want to see more photos, it is there in Adobe user group meeting portal. At any time, just go and check out all the photos that is available there. So said that, so I'm on time. So I know that I'm just running few things a little faster, and I did it purposefully. The reason is I want to cover everything within 30 minutes, and then I spent the next 30 minutes, which is a little bit slow, little bit in depth to understand what happened in Adobe Summit 2025. I'm just passing it. I'm going to pass it for like 2 minutes. Vinod, do you have any questions?
Around like they have like one query. Do we have mentorship program this year? Like as per digital
Yeah.
commerce.
Yeah, I addressed it. I addressed it. Yes, we have mentorship program this year as well. This is like a program every year we have, and across multiple Adobe solution, not only for Adobe Analytics. If at all you are an AEM expert, then for AEM we have for Adobe Campaign, we have for multiple products, right? So definitely there will be a mentorship program. If at all you are interested for any of the certification, you should definitely go for it, right? You should definitely go for it, and you should go and attend for it. We have. Okay. So Adobe Summit 2025. Okay. So how many of you attended Adobe Summit 2025 in person in Vegas? Let me start from that. Anyone attended Adobe Summit, or anybody attended virtual Adobe Summit where you saw the keynotes, at least keynotes?
Keynote, yeah. I think many people have watched the
Have seen it,
keynote.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you ask me, how is your in-person experience? Yes, definitely it is vibing. And after Adobe Summit, if at all I go to LinkedIn, right? Everybody would have faced a similar situation as well. You go to Adobe, you go to LinkedIn. Everywhere there is something related to Adobe Summit, some pictures, right? All these buzzwords, vibing, right? Everything was there. I know that a lot of people are also trying to put all these vibes and trying to consolidate a lot of input that they have learned, a lot of things that they have shared, right, in LinkedIn. It's completely fine. I know that it is like a informal or formal way of sharing all these knowledge, but what really happened in Adobe Summit 2025, irrespective or other than all these hype words, buzzwords, and all the energy, right? So let's get into what is important or what was very important to me. If you ask me, what have you learned in Adobe Summit 2025, then I would say this first slide is going to cover everything. It need not to be the case that you need to be a solution expert. Right? Most of the time, we need to understand what is behind all these hype, what is behind all these buzzwords, what is behind all these AI related um, highlights, agents, and everything, right? So, which means what is important for us to understand where is the shift, which era we are in, where is the shift happening, right? So, I have talked a lot these things even before years, right? Even through my blogs and through a lot of things, right? But still, this one slide from Adobe really got my attention, and I would say all the sessions in Adobe Summits revolved around this one particular slide. And what this slide is, right? Shift in era. Simple as, right? What is a shift in era, right? What are these eras which we were talking about? When we, right, most of us have at least 10 years of experience, right? If at all I'm a little bit old, then I would say 14 years of experience, which means if I go back to my early days, there is a concept called digital marketing, right? So we started with the digital marketing. And when we say digital marketing, I always say that, hey, everything in marketing, right? Whatever you do for our brand, everything, whatever we do for our own asset is considered as a marketing. And if it is digital, then it is digital marketing, right? If that is the case, how it evolved, right? What particular era it was. That era is mostly revolving around or revolved around two important topics or two important contexts. One is content, another one is analytics. These are the two important buzzwords during the time, right? Because if you think about um, digital marketing, during our earlier days, we had have seen a lot of things related to campaign management, campaigns, campaign reach, engagement, right? Which means our focus is during digital marketing is mostly revolved around campaigns, reach, and engagement. So this was our focus. Since because this was our focus, what are the things or which when because it is content and analytics, few things which made our marketing in a different way, which we can call it as a channel based marketing, right? So we started collecting a lot of analytics from the website. We started lot collecting a lot of analytics or data collected from the email and social media, but all these things are fragmented. So that's how the entire digital marketing or the era of content analytics started, where Adobe started acquiring Omniture, right? So that was the first acquisition for them, where they captured or acquired Omniture Site Catalyst, and they started building their own stack. And then they also captured or also acquired CQ5 from Day Software, which is Audience Manager right now. If at all we think about all the acquisition that has been made during this particular era, starting from Omniture, CQ5, and then we have Adobe Advertising Cloud, which is from eFrontier, Adobe Campaign from Neoline, right? And then we have Magento and then Marketo. So just see all these tools that Adobe acquired, Adobe built, right? Whatever it is, right? So if you see about all these solutions are related to either content or analytics. And what were we doing with all these tools? We try to put the content in our channels, and we try to capture or data collect all the performance of any particular content, right? Can be web, email, social, right? And we captured it in a particular solution called Adobe Analytics, and we started drilling down, we started correlating the data, we started subrelating the data, and then we slice the data to understand the insights. Based on the insights, what we have done, we have created segmentation to understand the user group, trying to personalize few contents for customers, right? So all these are mostly it's a post-mortem analytics, one side. Other side, most of the time, this data is mostly siloed. So you would have Adobe Analytics separately sitting, Adobe AEM is separately sitting, and you have an email channel will be separately sitting, Adobe Campaign, right? All these are separated. And even if you want to personalize something, then you have something called Adobe Target, where it come into play and where you personalize things, right? So digital marketing era revolved around only two things: content and analytics, where the limitations are everything in silo, everything is manual, and most of the time integration are not upfront. So we lived in the era earlier, right? And then Adobe understood there is a problem in terms of this particular content and analytics alone. And what it started is, it started talking about not only Adobe, entire world shifted towards customer experience. Then we were keep on saying customer don't buy products, rather by they buy experiences, right? Which means it is not just about content and analytics, which is across different channels, which is you can say as channel based marketing. Rather, we want to call it as content, data, and journeys, where Adobe introduced its bigger ground up product called Adobe Experience Platform. What it does, it understand and manage entire customer journey. Simple as that. Rather than all these data are siloed, unlike our first era of content and analytics, now we were trying to resolve a big problem of omni-channel data consolidation, which means rather than we do all the activities based on the channels, we want to do it based on the customer. Our focus from channel centric shifted from channels to the journey centric. Rather than we are always defining identities and trying to see which identity is where, now we went into a mode that we want to resolve the identity. We want to take real time behavioral decisioning or real-time decisioning, right? So that is why AEP come into the play, and AEP said that AEP is already ground up. So AEP has multiple layers. We have also seen it during our previous session. So which said, we collected data from all the sources across all the channels. We unified the profiles in AEP, and we created journeys and we created automation, right? So if we think about one by one of these steps, right, it is more revolved towards content, data, and journeys together. If at all we have a unified customer profile and everything is collected together, then what we can achieve is personalization. We can call it as hyper personalization or personalization, right? Automative personalization. But personalization becomes much more easier and relevant rather than single source of truth, or rather than single channel getting all these personalization content. Now we have one source of truth, a single source of truth, where everything is interconnected and we were able to get the insights, which is RTCDP. We have CJA for analytics and insights, and we have AJO for the content journey. Yes, this was the era. This was the second era, and this was the era right now when we can see that most of them are trying to learn about this AEP and all the tools in AEP. Even I would say that this particular era is not even over; it is still there. But what is my vision? What is Adobe's vision in terms of taking this to a next level, right? That comes, right. They also bought with, since because we are talking about journey, one of the journey which we want to address is the workflows within our teams, multiple teams, right? So Adobe also acquired one front work front and ensured that they are paving their way for customer experience orchestration. Okay, so we talked about customer experience management. What is meant by customer experience orchestration? What is the bigger difference? If at all you ask me what is the bigger difference, the bigger difference is putting AI into the picture, right? If you see this, right, it will be much more evident for you. Just not unified customer experience, but AI into the picture. And then there is a word called content supply chain. If you ever notice it, right? We were like discussing about this content supply chain often. When it comes to content supply chain, we can give or we can understand in multiple ways, completely fine. But still, my understanding in terms of content supply chain is nothing but from the content creation, right, till it rollbacks into our personalization. If at all we were able to integrate end to end without the need for greater manual effort, or I would say that from the connected experience point of view, if at all we are able to automate it, then I would say the entire content supply chain is there. So to do that, what do we need to do? If you think about AEP talk about all the data and everything, but how do we personalize content, not just from the targeting or not just from the personalization point of view, even the delivery of content, right? How do we do that? Whether AEM is included into that? No, right? Then how do AEM can be integrated with all these solutions? And AEM is just about a site which can deliver everything for you, but what tool or which solution is creating all these contents? We have multiple clouds. We know that, right? Adobe has Experience Cloud, which is our suite, but it also had two more clouds, Creative Clouds and then Document Cloud. But Document Cloud, all the documentations are created over there. And then in terms of images, in terms of all the contents, text and everything is created in Adobe Creative Cloud. If all these are sitting in pieces again, how can we automate from the start of content creation till the delivery? Again, there is a gap, right? So AEP resolved a lot of things from the experience point of view, but it didn't resolve from the operational point of view, right? Operation didn't start only from the high level of customers, rather it starts from the content creation till the delivery, right? Which means this particular customer experience orchestration, our focus is real time, AI driven, end to end customer design, experience design and delivery all together. Which means what Adobe is trying to say there, right? Adobe is saying that I already started integrating my Creative Cloud and Document Cloud in with AEP, which is a ground up we already know. Which means if everything is integrated, then you are into a single ecosystem where you can get to the final goal of content supply chain, where you AI can come and read lot of contents, where AI can understand the behavior data of a customer, where AI can do lot of automation on optimization for you, and it can create a complete orchestration in a single node, right? That is where it is. So if you see this particular slide, from digital marketing, where content analytics, where every analytics tool or every solution is one point solution, versus our current era of AEP, where everything is jointed, but still what we need is how do we pull in content, how do we generate content, how do we differentiate contents, how do we push the contents to publish, right? How do we deliver it, right? So end-to-end content management plus delivery for your customer in real time with personalization, that is what it is, customer experience orchestration, right? So if you understand these three different zones or these three different era, then I would say that your summit 2025 is already like done, right? So next few slides, I'm just going to give you some of the Adobe solutions, right? Or Adobe, what are some of the introductions from Adobe point of view? But all these revolves around content supply chain, unified customer experience, and then AI, right? So only these three things it is going to be revolved around. But just to give a high level highlights or quick summary on what are the new introduction or what are the announcement that stood out for me, let me quickly go and see it. Any questions here? Let me pause for a second. I know that questions are at the last, but still I just want to ask, do you have any questions here? Okay, do you have any Q&A came in? Okay, good. I guess then everybody are well and good. Thank you. So getting into the second one, right? So we already know what is Adobe Experience Platform. So we have Adobe Experience Platform. What are the three layers we have? We have a data lake, which is a platform. We have services layer. We have the application layer. We have all the applications, right? That Adobe want to group it under content, data, and journeys, because we know that this is the era which we are in, right? So we are talking about content, data, and journeys, how everything can give us unified profile and real-time personalization or real-time customer experience. Said that, we know Adobe Experience Platform right now is hosted in Microsoft Azure. If at all you are not aware, just go and search for Adobe document, right? Adobe Experience Platform right now, we have only one particular hosting which is available, tenant available, which is Microsoft Azure, right? But Adobe opened its service for AWS as well. So till now, there is no option for you to select your own hosting. You just need to go on with Azure, right? Microsoft Azure. But Adobe opened the hosting for AWS as well. So if you are a customer and if you want to onboard AEP, now you are given with two options, which is whether you want to go on with Azure or whether you want to go on with AWS, because that was one of the requests where multiple clients are like asking for, we need AWS into the picture so that I can use, they can use, right, S3 and DynamoDB, right? So that is why Adobe introduced this particular announcement. So where now you can use S3 as your data lake and Amazon DynamoDB or DocumentDB as your profile store. And let me ask one question. Do you know what is the Microsoft Azure product, right? Which is built, which the data lake is built and profile store is built? Let me quickly ask this question, right? Anyone? So we have in Adobe, we have two stores, right? One is data lake, and then we have a profile store as well. So what is the Microsoft product, right? Or DB, right? That has been used across these two different stores. Anyone know? So I will just open it for everyone, so that if at all you have any answer, right, you can just go and ping there. Okay. So yeah, so now AWS into the picture, we can just go and select on our option. So that is the first important announcement which stood out for me. And then the second announcement is experience platform orchestration to this data layer. So earlier, if you see, right, I'm just going to shuffle around with between my previous slide as well as the current slide. The earlier slide, AEP has three layers, which we know that the platform, we have services and the application layer. Now Adobe introduced one important layer called Adobe Experience or Platform Agent Orchestrator. What is Platform Agent Orchestrator? It is nothing but an AI agent that can, or I would say that, which enables businesses to create, manage, and deploy AI agents across Adobe ecosystem. That is what it is, right? The entire orchestrator is all about, right? Which means if at all you are creating a content, there are a lot of suggestions in how do you want to create the content. If at all you want to change the content, right? If at all you want to tweak the content based on the devices, right? All these change in content or content modification or additions can be done without even you go back to your content creator and do the editions, right? So from the content creation point of view, if at all you are targeting anyone, right, the audience targeting and the customer engagement, Adobe can predict a lot of things. Adobe can help you in terms of building audiences. Adobe can help you in terms of recommending which target for which particular audiences, what not related to customer engagement, right? Which means this AI with this entire AEP, it is going to facilitate, right, more personalized and efficient customer experiences in the era of AI and automation. That is very important, right? So Adobe said that there are multiple, they want to group these AI agents into multiple things, right? One is purpose-built agent, and we have multi-agent collaboration, we have reasoning engine, and we have customer experience models. If you see all these names, purpose-built agent and multi-agent collaboration is of stood top because that it is not one particular AI which is going to resolve everything. Like our Adobe Sensei, right? Earlier, whenever we talk about AI with related to Adobe, we always talk about Adobe Sensei, right? One particular AI which was there in Adobe Analytics, which was there in AEP, which was everywhere, right? One particular AI. But now it is not just about one particular AI, it is about different platform or purpose-built agents, right? Which means for data, you would have a separate AI agent. For content, you would have a separate AI agent. If at all you want to create segments, you would have a separate AI agent, right? They want to create or they want to give opportunity to build all these agents separately for all these purposes. And when all these agents collaborate and give the elevated customer experience, right? There comes a multi-agent collaboration and with all the other different scales, right? So with Adobe Sensei playing at the back, Adobe introduced a next gen layer, which is this AI agent, and said that in next few months and next few years, right, Adobe is going to really assist you in terms of what you need to do. Adobe is going to say that I need something, right, with simple conversation you can get a lot of details. If at all you want to activate anything easily, if at all you want to integrate anything, so all these things can be easily done using AI agent, and Adobe is focusing there, right? Adobe's big focus is there. So that is what Adobe Experience Platform Orchestrator, which is purely on the AA platform, right? So this is the additional layer introduction, right? This was a bigger announcement that has been made during Adobe Summit 2025. Okay, so now we have seen that AEP is going to already is going to support AWS. The second point is introduction of AA layer into the picture. What is next? Introduction of two different products, Gen Studio for marketing and Brand Concierge, right? Two different products altogether. And even before this Gen Studio for marketing and Brand Concierge, if at all you are following some of the Adobe releases, right? Adobe AJO B2B has been released during late 2024, during October or November, right? Adobe released before Summit, Adobe released B2B for AJO, as well as Adobe released AJO, B2B for CJA as well, which means in AJO now you can enable, right, or it will enable marketers to orchestrate multi-step journeys for account-based and lead-based models as well. It is not just about B2C where everything is customers, right? Rather now it can be account-based and lead-based model. It will be a greater introduction for all the B2B people, right, who are really expecting some of the releases related to AJO. And even for the CJA, Adobe said that, hey, I'm going to introduce a lot of new amendments for B2B as well, not just B2C. And it released multiple ABM style visualization. It also said that, okay, so there are a lot of opportunity based joints and then CRM integration, which we can do from B2B, right? A lot of visualization and visualization capabilities has been enhanced so that it can support all these B2B and B2B related journeys as well as the reporting, right? So both the B2B customer journey analytics, B2B customer journey analytics B2B, and AGO Adobe Journey Optimizer B2B, right? It was the introduction before Summit, which means these four stood out from the product point of view. Gen Studio, Brand Concierge, and B2B announcement, right? So if you think about all the session that was there uh, in Adobe Summit, everything was focused towards all these four, all the Adobe related sessions, where everything is focused towards only these four, if you ask me, with all the other products like analytics and everything. So what is quickly get into two important topics and quickly finish up in next 5 minutes. What is Gen Studio for marketing? Yeah, I said that there is new different product, right? But now I need to say what it is. So what is Gen Studio for performance marketing? What the new product is all about? This product is nothing about, it is a AI powered content hub, which incorporated, or it is a collaboration of multiple Adobe tools starting from Adobe Firefly, which is for images and text, right? So if at all you want AI to build your images, text, right? All these things you know about Adobe Firefly already, right? So it has Adobe Firefly, which means the images and text can be created. It has a collaboration with Adobe Workfront where you can easily manage the workfront, work related shift, publishing, right, all these publishing flows. And we have experience manager where we can deliver the content to the page, right? It is headless, right, which means you can deliver in web as well as in mobile. And then we have Adobe Express where we can lightweight create everything. In addition, it has Experience Cloud integration, which means everything combined together to give you the content generation at the scale, right? So now you have generative creation, centralized workspace, integration with Adobe Stack, upload workflows are already there, content to experience activation is already there, everything is feedback into one particular loop, right? So it can solve multiple cases. I don't want to get into each and every use cases, right? But high level use cases is you can create a content generation at scale, right? Simply you can get one content, you can just manipulate the content, do whatever not. Then the campaign acceleration, if at all you are taking 3 days to go for one particular campaign, since because everything is integrated together, once the content is created, it can be shared to your experience manager using workfront in a simple workflow model, so that people can work on the copy, get the approvals, and get the things done. And since because it is indirectly integrated with all your Adobe platform, the data collection, everything is again on. You can get into the personalization mode very quickly, right? So the key benefits of this is faster time to market, more personalized campaign. And since because every team, right, in this particular world, it is not just about onboarding the CDP to our organization is going to work. After onboarding the CDP, how collaboratively we work together as a team is very important, right? I have seen, right, even Forrester studies, even Gartner studies are saying that even though you have a CDP, if there is no team collaboration, if there is no tighter team effort in terms of putting into a simple unified workflow, we are not going to get any benefit out of CDP, right? So tighter team collaboration, because everything is integrated, and since because everything is powered by AI, then definitely I would say that definitely intelligence comes into play, and you can do a lot of wonderful things, right? So that is Gen Studio for performance marketing. It is a collaborative, right, content hub, right, or AI generative hub, where the tools that is there in this particular slide work together from the content till delivery. That is Gen Studio for performance marketing. And if at all you want to go through some of the demos, right, there are multiple demos there in Adobe. I have opened the session for demand. So go through all these Gen Studio, right? It will show you a lot of interfaces where they can simply create on the fly, share it with their performance team, right? All these things is that. Just go through it, but just remember this particular Venn diagram, right? It will be super helpful for you. So that is Gen Studio for performance marketing. And then we have brand concierge. So what is brand concierge? So let me play this particular video for you, right? Quickly understand, right? By the end of this particular, it's like a 1 second video, right? But you can easily understand what is brand concierge is by the end of this particular video. So let me play that. Okay. So what it is, right? So rather than I go and search for something, rather than I go and go and try to explore something on by myself, now everything is just about conversation. So what is brand concierge? It is nothing but a conversational commerce platform which is powered by AI. Okay. If you say that, hey, if that is the case, Arun, there are a lot of AI agents. Even I can go to 10 different platforms, 10 different websites right now. There is also a chatbot, right? So, what is the difference between Adobe Brand Concierge and then the chatbot? If you ask me, then I would say brand concierge is nothing but a conversational on brand AI. I want to put this term called on brand. The reason is because this particular interaction which we have seen right now is not just based on customer queries. What AI agents would usually do, right? Whenever you ask for something, it is going to give you and it will try to learn, right? There will be one LLM model which will be sitting behind it. Whenever a lot of questions, a lot of inputs, based on that, it is going to give you an output. Simple as that, which means it is purely on one particular LLM, right? That is what general purpose agent, right? If you see this particular diagram, right, the LLMs, right? So LLMs is simple, right? So it is going to get the input and going to give you an answer. So that's how the usual chat bot, we call it as a chat bot, AA bot. But brand concierge, in addition to all the questions that you are providing or the conversation which you are providing, it is going to understand your data. It is going to understand the entire customer data, right? What is the behavioral pattern, which particular pattern you are in, right? And it is all going to also read all the assets that is being there in that particular platform. So you have Adobe Experience Platform, you have Sensei or you have Firefly, right? Putting all the content, it understands all the contents first, and then it understands the behavioral data, and then it understands customer queries. When all three combines together, which means the output it going to give is completely personalized and AI driven, right? So rather than I'm asking some question, right, in this particular example as well, if at all I'm interested into some trips or anything else, right, I just need to say that particular example, just say that my daughter, right, which means automatically Adobe or automatically brand concierge can help you to tailor everything based on all the data that is being fed into it and give you an context aware personalized responses. That is very very important, right? The context aware, right? It is not just going to give you a high level personalization, right? It understand the context, it understand what you are, right? It understand what is there in my particular inventory. It combines everything and it is going to give you one result, right? So that is conversational commerce. And lastly, I just want to touch about the strategic partnership with Adobe, right? Adobe also said that I'm not going to build my AI on my platform alone. Rather, I'm going to say that, right? Hey, I'm just giving it, right? I'm just going to give that AI to collaborate with all the other brands as well, right? Which means AI agent can interactively operationalize to drive the unified customer experience, right? That extension in terms of partnership is also like Adobe opened it, right? A lot of strategic partnership. There is a list of brands, right, who are working with Adobe to enhance this AI, right, from Adobe as well as there, right? So we already have Microsoft Copilot, right, where it can understand, right, what are we going to do, right, and it is going to, or it is directly integrated with your Adobe, where you can exchange the information between Microsoft 365 as well as Adobe, right? So all these high level partnerships are also established, right? So that is very important note, right? So these are some of the quick level summaries. It's already over 2 minutes. So let me stop here. So with this, right, I'm just stopping this strategic partnership point of view. But I just want to quickly give a rewind of what we have done, right? So first is we have studied about or we have learned about what is a shift in era, and then we went for in this particular era how Adobe is positioning itself by introducing agent AI orchestration, and then the introduction of two different solution on top of AEP, as well as all the strategic partnership with Adobe, right? So this concludes my summit 2025, right? It is a brief level. There are a lot of B2B use cases, a lot of other things are there. But let me stop Adobe Summit talks or Adobe Summit highlights here, and let me pass this over to Vinod so that we can start working on the real-time implementation. Right? Till now we have talked. Right now, let's get into the implementation mode. Vinod, over to you.
Thanks, Arun. Like, even though like we're not able to visit Adobe Summit, right? So I think I saw the keynote summary, but getting the information from you, right? I think I got more clarity on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Super. Guys, if you have any questions related to these products and anything, right, you have questions open, right, please always ping us in the chat. We are here, we can help you. Okay, okay, get into the mode. I'm thirsty.
Arun, I think you can share your screen, Arun. Like the PPT is with you, so I think
Okay, yeah, I guess you can see my screen, right? That's my understanding.
no, not the screen.
Okay,
The
sorry.
video is on, but the presentation has stopped.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to share it. So let me share my entire screen. It's much more better. Let me know once you can see my screen.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Vinod, over to you.
Okay. Hi everyone. So like I'll be just talking about the Adobe AP Mobile SDK, right? So not talking, but I want to show a live demo of the SDK part. So we will just go on that. Before that, I'll just explain about the mobile SDK. So can you put the next slide?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So why we need the AP Mobile SDK, right? So we have already like Web SDK, right, for all the web technologies that covers like all the front end websites and whatever that supports JavaScript, right? We have Web SDK. But apart from that, we have many other technologies like mobile applications, right? So where Adobe also build a SDK for that. So that is like the mobile SDK. So uh, it actually has like many other inbuilt options, right, for the mobile application that we can use actually. Example, like it can capture like queue based offline data. Like example, like if at all the network is not there and the data is not passing, right, it can actually queue it and send it actually. So it's just an example of the functionality that SDK has. And also like whenever we put the SDK, right, there's like they have like built-in support for the consent, where we can manage the application concern and the life cycle tracking, like the launches, first install date, and crashes, and the lifecycle metrics, right, that we can do. And there's also like modules that can do push messaging and things like that. And I said like this is an AEP SDK, so not the like old SDK. Like this one is the latest AEP SDK that seamlessly integrate with AEP. And we have like for this particular AEP SDK, right, the platform compatibility, right, they have like for the native iOS they have the SDKs, and for the native Android also they have, and for React Native and Flutter. So this top two, right, the native iOS and the native Android is the native application where I think for the native iOS they'll be using like Swift coding language. That will be the programming language for that one. So and for the native Android, right, it will be like Java or Kotlin things. And I think we know that there's methodologies, right? One is the native application and what we call as like hybrid application. So the React Native and Flutter or hybrid application. So that's the thing. So they have support like four platforms. If at all like you have other platforms, right, then I think we have to see like how can be integrated with the AEP part. If at all like it's like a PWA. PWA is like we can use a web SDK, but for like other Kodava kind of things, right, we can build custom plugins for this.
Said that, I have one question, right? Being not completely into the technical side, right? So since because AEP mobile SDK is here, what happened to the previous SDK? Is it still there or it is completely replaced?
No, it's still there, Arun.
Or it is still there?
Still
If at
there.
all, like let's say I decide not to go with the AEP mobile SDK, I can still go and implement it using the previous method as well. Is it right?
Correct, correct. They have not sunset it yet, actually. So they
Okay.
are
But
recommending to use.
the support for some of these platform might be tougher, right? That's my understanding. What's your
Yes.
opinion? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Next slide, Arun.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So coming to the SDK part, right? There are actually many modules in SDK for the AP SDK. These are all like the modules that are available as part of the AP SDK. So the one is AP Core. That is the core part of the SDK. That is by mandatory. Like you have to have that AP core because it will control that event sending, networking, the disk access, and the DB part of the whatever it needs to store some data, right? So that part will be handled by the AP core. So that is mandatory. And we have the AP Edge SDK that actually sends data to the AP platform. So that's a edge event where we can send events actually. So that was also like we need, if at all we need to send data to AEP edge networking, and we have like AEP edge identity that actually handles the identity for the mobile application, like ECID and customer ID and everything. So that handles that part. And we have the edge where it will consent preference, right? Like recently, like in iOS and all, like you have to get the consent actually before sending the event. So that part will be handled by the edge consent SDK. And we have the user profile SDK that manages user profile. So that also, it's like we usually have we should have actually like uh, as part of the core and profiles by default will be there. And we have another called AEP places. This one, I think, it was there actually previously also, like the previous versions and everything, where we have like a geolocation uh, mapping and everything. So that's called, I think, Adobe Places, where we can actually trigger some actions based on the user's location. So that, if at all, like if there's a use case for implementing that kind of, we can use AEP Places SDK. And there's also AEP messaging SDK that allows to push notifications and things. This part, right, if at all, like it should be used with the AJO thing, so that can send push notifications and things like that. And there's also like Optimize SDK that manages the target and AJO's offer decisioning. So if at all, like you want to deliver some offers, right, if at all, like you have um, that part of the package, right, Adobe Target or AJO, then AP Optimize is you have to implement it. And another thing is AP Assurance. The AP Assurance is the one that used to validate the data collection, whatever like we are uh, sending the events, identity, everything. So to debug and inspect, right, we use the AP Assurance. So based on this one, there's like 9 parts, right? So whatever is required for the our use case, right, then we will be implementing that. The AP core profile, that will be like mandatory. So apart from that, it's all like optional. But
Vinod, I
assurance, I
have a
think,
question.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So we have nearly 9 libraries and 9 modules here, right? So let's
Yeah,
say I'm a user of Adobe Analytics. I don't care about, right, whether there is a push notification or pull notification, right, or else do we need a messaging, right? And assume that I don't have like any other licensing as well, right? If at all my sole purpose is just about data collection, what are the modules that is important here, right? Can you just say those modules alone for data collection for Adobe Analytics or CJA? Assume that the case, right? Because we want to shift over to CJA over the period of time. Let's say for the data collection point of view, what are the modules which is important or mandatory?
core is mandatory.
Okay.
And the EEP edge, right, the second one, that is the one that sends the event. That will be for data collection, it will be mandatory. And we need the identity also, because we have to manage the identity, like the advertiser's ID and all, we need to capture, right? So that part, if there'll be the identity will be there, and the profiles. So that's it. So this,
Okay.
with this, you can manage the data collection.
So edge consent is also not important, right? We can also skip the edge consent if at all we are not going for a
Yeah,
consent. Okay.
consent, yeah, if at all.
Okay, but other things like AEP places, AEP messaging, AEP optimize would be part of some other solutions in AEP, right? I assume that
Correct.
AEP places and messaging, if at all we need to use, if at all let's say we implement it, that is only going to enable personalization through Adobe Journey Optimizer or Adobe Target, something like that. We need not need that if at all our point is just a data collection.
Correct.
Okay, that, thank you.
Yeah. So this one is the edge architecture, right? So as said, like we have the web SDK that sends data to the edge network, and correspondingly, like we have the mobile version of the web SDK called mobile SDK that also sends API edge network, and we have like server to server API also, right? That sends to edge network. So the mobile SDK part is the one we are discussing here. So whenever the data is sent to AP edge network, right, we can actually it's an let me just explain a bit about the edge network, right? Edge network is a how to say it, like it's a simple server that does like simple task actually. Like it can actually forward the data to the actual server, or it can forward to any third party platforms also. So that's all, like they have connection to non Adobe platforms also. And also we can actually forward it to Adobe AEP, that is the AEP data lake, right? That we can forward it to the AEP data lake data sets. Also, if at all you don't have the AP, right, you have only Adobe Analytics, but yes, we can actually forward it to the Analytics cloud. So without the AP data lake, right, we can actually forward it to Adobe Analytics. The methodology of the collection might be different, but the storing part, right, is where you're going to forward it. We can configure it in the data stream part. So that's the overall
It's
architecture
like
of the
a,
AP.
which means it's like a server side forwarding, correct? So in Google Analytics or something, we call it as a server side, right? Server
Server
side
side. Yeah.
environment and server side forwarding. So here we are calling it as data streams. Then it's like a like it, right? The mirror like, you can say. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Adobe calls this edge network, but I think Google actually gives the on-prem version of this edge,
Okay.
so that you can host your edge anywhere.
Okay. So edge is nothing but a regional data collection, right? So it is like near to my particular location where it can receive and where it can forward, right? It is not an actual storage unit or actual server.
Correct.
It's like a virtual server. You can like can I call it in that way better? Yes or
Yeah,
no?
we
That's
generally
fine.
we generally call it as like a proxy server, because it will be
Proxy
sitting
server.
middle and it will just forward and do
Okay, might be that is
that's
a
it.
right name. Correct. Proxy server. Yeah.
Yeah. So so moving on to the implementation steps, right? So how to implement this mobile SDK, right? So the first step is to create the schemas. Actually, the schemas is the one important part of AP. So we'll be creating the schemas. So later on I will just walk through the live demo also, like how I've created the schemas. And once the schema is created, right, schema is nothing but a structure of the data, and we will be creating a data stream that actually says where to forward the data. uh, that part you have to configure. Then the third step is to create a mobile property in data collection. Now they call it as tag actually, so it has changed names multiple times. Now they call the Adobe launch as tag. So we have to create a mobile property in tag, and we'll be installing the extension, right? Whatever is needed, we will be installing the extension in the tag property. And the fifth step is we'll be then we'll be moving to the application part. So the application part is the one, like we'll be uh, initializing the SDK, uh, that the fifth step, and we'll be sending the events, and using the assurance we'll be validating. So these are the implementation steps actually. So basically the 5, 6, 7, right, as like the analytics architect or tagging engineers, right, we don't usually do it, right. We actually provide the instruction document to the actual app developers, and they will be implementing the SDK and sending the events, but according to our requirements. So that's the thing.
So 5 and 6 in the sense means, so
Fine.
schema creation we need to do, data stream we need to
Yes.
do as a Adobe Analytics architect or Adobe Analytics developer or analytics, right? Or Adobe developer, Adobe architect. So 1 to 4 we will be doing, but 5 and 6 we will give the instruction to the app
App
developer,
developer.
product developer, so that they will go and implement it and give us a confirmation. We will validate using assurance, right? So even 7 we would be doing it then.
Yes, 7 we will be doing. Yeah.
So yeah, okay. 5 and 6 is app developer dependent, but rest of the things we need to do it. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So now you need
Yeah.
to share your screen, I guess so.
Hmm.
Let me stop my screen share so that you can share.
Able to see my screen, right?
It's black right now, but I guess it should come in. Do you want to share it once again, Vinod? I guess it is still black for me, at the least.
Just a minute. Let me just. Is it visible now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Just bear with me. My laptop will be a little slow because of the Android tools and everything. So it's like heavily loaded now. So
And our laptop would definitely know that if at all we are going for a demo.
yeah.
Even in Adobe, in such a big screen, whenever, see, they would have tested it multiple times, right? But even with that, when they go for a demo, something will not work for sure. Somewhere around our systems will know that if there is a demo, it will not work. I know. So that's fine.
Yeah. I'm just going into the platform's homepage. So this will be the
Okay, which is our
AEP
self step here, right?
platform.
Creating schemas then. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Under the data management, schemas will be there.
Okay. I want to share one information to everyone, right? Let's say even if you are Adobe Analytics customer and if you don't have AEP license, it's completely fine. You can go and create a schema. You just need to send a mail to your Adobe customer representative or customer care and then ask to enable this AEP, right? The AEP provisioning for you. They can enable the AEP provisioning, right? Which means schema, right, is not a part of AEP solutions. If at all anything a part of the solution, then you need to buy for it. There is a separate licensing and procurement for it. But AEP is a data lake. It is a different service altogether, which means it is like a provisioning. So you can go send a mail to Adobe customer care, get that enabled for you, go into the schema and we can create it. Even if you have Adobe Analytics or even if you have Adobe Target, right? So don't think that a schema visible, not visible for me, so I cannot create, right? No, that is not the case. You can still go and create it. Vinod, you are back.
Okay. So it was like Arun. I was like not able to hear anything, but hey, I think now you're
No
able to
worries.
see the screen, right?
Yeah, we can see the screen. So that
Okay.
is why it's an
So I
in-person
just
meeting.
created. Yeah, yeah. We can't trust these
Internet.
technologies.
Okay. So first is schema creation. Okay, I will hear from you, Vinod. Oh, did you create one for Flutter?
Yeah, yeah. So okay. So I just had one SDK for Flutter actually. So I've gone with the Flutter one because that will be much easier to show. because I don't know like Java, but I think Flutter is like understandable actually.
I guess then we would have promoted in
But
such
the
a way
implementation is
that it is a Flutter implementation, but because a lot of people are asking a lot of questions to me related to Flutter implementation only. Because for people who are working an app, they might know something related to the iOS, Basic, and Android, but they were struggling with this Flutter. So they would have got benefit from this. Okay, that's fine. We will post the recording and say that hey, it's a Flutter implementation app, implementation demo. Okay, that's good.
okay. I thought like the native one is the difficult part. The Flutter, I think.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
So I've created
Okay. Hmm.
the schema. Actually, this is nothing but an XDM experience event schema, and I've included one field group called consumer experience event. Right, that's what like Adobe recommends for the application part, for tracking the web and application events. So it will have all the launches, install, and everything. So this is a uh, class and the field group I have chosen to create this schema.
Perfect.
So once the schema is created, right? So the next part is we have to go to the data streams.
Okay, so
So
first step is done. So what I need to do here is I'm just rewinding because I'm also learning from you. So I need to go into the schema, create the experience event schema, add the field groups related to mobile application, which is like the application field group or whatever field group. If it's a custom field group as well, I can just go and add it. Add everything, click on save, put the identity, click on save, which means my schema is now done. The schema creation step is done. Right? That is the first step.
yeah,
Okay, good for
second
me.
step is yeah, the second step is like we have to create a data stream, right? So these are like a rule that where we need to forward the data. So I just created one, but I have not yet added any service. Just wanted to show what are all the options there as a service. So you can see like we can send the data to the Adobe Audience Manager, Adobe Experience Platform, that is our data lake, right? So whenever we choose that data lake, it will ask for the data set name. So if at all like we have created some data set, right, then we have to choose that data set here. And we have also like event forwarding, right? uh, where like event forwarding is one like we will be sending like to the third parties, right? If at all like you want to send something to third party, then you can add it as event forwarding, where the event forwarding will pick it up. So that we
I
can do.
guess even
And
forwarding
this,
is not within the base license, right? I guess it is an add-on. So if at all you have an RTCDP licensing for like Prime or Ultimate, I guess even forwarding is free. But if not, even forwarding is not free. So just making a note here. Okay. Yeah.
yep. So that is it. And Adobe Analytics, right? And like whenever you choose Adobe Analytics, it will ask for the report suite. So just we have to enter the report suite here, and that's it. Like you give this same thing, and the data stream will be configured, and whatever you have configured, right, it will be forwarded to that. So the second step is done.
So did you create one already earlier, or else you didn't add any service at all?
No, no, not need for the assurance part. So I can
Okay.
just select Adobe Analytics any report suite, but I'm not selected anything.
Which means what you are saying is to initiate the server call, you don't need any of these configurations, right? You just need to set the data streams, right? If the data stream is there, you can use the data stream ID to initiate it. But to send it or capture the data into your solution, then you need to go and add a service, right? Usually for Adobe Analytics, I need to go and add the service called Adobe Analytics, and then I need to add the report suite so that it can directly go to the report suite.
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
So
nice.
whenever you create the data stream, you have the data stream ID, right? You can just use that. But if you do that, the data will come to the edge, but it will not be forwarded to anything. It will be like gone. So
Gone, yeah.
so
So there is nothing, right? We didn't give the proper destination then. Okay, fine. I didn't know. I didn't know that we can just send it to H. Okay. Hmm.
hmm.
Good. Good to know.
Okay.
Okay,
The
the second
third
step is
part is,
done. Hmm.
yeah, the third part is the one we'll be doing in the application, right? So we have created the schema, we have created the data stream. Sorry, we'll be moving on to the tags, correct? So in the tags, right, we'll be creating a property for the mobile application. So that will be our third step. just a minute, it's loading. So
I guess we know the internet is on and off. Is it possible to add two experience event schemas to the data stream? If there is any issue will happen. Sorry guys, I'm just seeing your messages. Could you show the fields created in the schema? Yes, we will show that. I will ask. Can you show the fields created in schema? What sort of entity has been used? Let me ask Vinod to show when he is back. But yeah, might be the end of the thing, right? Because we know that schema creation we have plenty of documents, so we just need to use some of the basic things, especially whatever Vinod has said related to mobile application. So I'll ask him if we have time. And but is it possible to add two experience event schemas to the data stream? Yes, there is an option to override the schema whenever you are sending a send event. It can be a custom initiation as well as there is an option for you to select it, right? So there is an option to override the schemas is there. So based on your condition, you can definitely change the schemas, right? Because often I have seen people, they want to restrict profile in such a way that
identity, mobile
you
core,
are
and profile. So these all like
sorry,
uh,
you know,
things I have installed here. And once you have installed the extensions, right, you just go to the publishing flow, create, add a
you know,
library. Yeah. Yes.
can you hear me? Right?
Yes.
You are not visible to us till now. Just we were able to see you back.
The screen is was not visible.
Earlier, right? You need to start from the tags, right? Let's say I have done the schema, I have done the data stream, right? Start from the tags.
Okay, so I have created one mobile property in the tags actually. So that
Okay.
once you create the mobile property, you just go into the extension. You just the catalog and you just search for the modules that we discussed actually. So whatever is required, right? So I have installed Edge that sends the event data, assurance for value.
You are, your audio is not audible for me. I don't know whether it is for me or for everyone, but it is not audible. Correct. Lost audio. Unmute and mute. See whether it is something. We can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yeah,
Now?
we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, fine. You're able to see the screen also, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, fine. So I have installed this six modules, right? That we discussed. That is like what I have done. But if at all like you want the other modules, right, you can install it. Then we'll be moving to the publishing flow. So just create a library with initial build rate, whatever the installed extension, right? You just add all change resources and see like all the extensions will be available here that we install, and just create save and build to development. So I've built in the development. So let's next go to the environment part. So nothing to do here. You just build it in the development. Go to the environment
Configuration we need to do
and
in terms of extension, Vinod.
okay. Most of the things right here doesn't require any configuration, but the mobile core doesn't have any configuration.
Okay. Let's quickly go and check it out because we are recording this as well, right? It will be useful for people who really want to do something on explore something related to Flutter. So in mobile core app, I guess it is automatically added, no configuration, nothing. You just need to add it. Simple as that.
Yes, it will
Okay.
auto populate actually. The experience
Okay.
cloud
Okay.
ID and it will be auto
Okay. This is
populated,
IMS organization. Okay. Yeah.
and the profile part will not have anything also. So let's just check that
Where do
also.
you add the data stream ID, Vinod? Where did you add the data stream ID?
Yeah, that part I think, yeah. it will be in the edge configuration that I think I missed. Okay. So here is the one we'll be adding the data stream part. So this is the edge network where we'll be sending the events, right? So whenever we go to the configuration, whenever you install it, right, it will ask for the data stream actually. It will ask for production, staging, and development. For now, I just chosen like everything as same data stream, but the production and staging and development, it will be like a different data streams.
Okay.
So, this the three things that we have to put and just put save here.
Okay. So whatever the data stream that I have created in the data stream section, it will be visible in the drop down for me. I just need to
Yes,
ensure that I'm selecting the production and I'm selecting the development properly, or staging if needed.
correct. Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You just need to search actually, so it will be automatically everything will be populated here. Whatever the data stream, right? So you can just select that.
Okay. Understood.
And the assurance, right? That also we will just check it out whether any configuration is there. So no configuration. Consent.
I don't think so. We would have anything there as well. We have.
I think default opt out and that part will be there.
Mm. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Default consent level, right? That
Mm.
setting is there here. So if at all like you give S, it will collect the events irrespective of the consent of the user. If at all like no, it will drop the events that occur before the user consent. Pending, you can queue the events actually like up to the user gives a consent. So these
Okay.
three options are available as a default
Okay.
consent level.
Okay, then. So I can use this particular thing in the rule so that I can get the dynamic value from the consent, and based on the consent, I can say that whether it need to be like sent or not, right? I can do that. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll check this identity also. Yeah. So the identity also no configurations are there.
Good.
So moving
So
on
that's
to
cool.
the publishing. Yes.
Okay.
Enron part, right? So we have published in the development. So in the development, right, there is a icon that says install. Just click on that, and it will just give that instructions, right? This particular instruction is for the native Android and the native iOS actually. So it's not applicable if you are using the Flutter part. But if at all like you are using the native application, right, this will be the instruction codes actually. So it will have all the instruction of that one. So the main part is the environment file ID. This is our library ID, right? That will be required actually for Flutter. So
With
we'll
our
be
web, it is like a identifier for that particular tag property. That too for this particular environment, which is development here.
correct.
Okay.
It is particular for that property and particular environment. So we will be taking this one, the environmental file ID.
Okay.
Yeah. So this configuration that is up to in
Tags.
the tag. So then we have to move to the application part.
Okay.
So yeah. So this is the application that Adobe has provided as a for reference purpose actually. So I
Mm-hmm.
just took that Flutter application. So they have like the main dot right, that will be the main module actually for this particular Flutter application. So here,
So
right,
they.
okay.
Mm.
So before covering that, right, I wanted to talk about the package managers actually. So we have like package managers, right? Let me just explain about the package managers. So what are the models that we have discussed, right? AP core, assurance, edge, consent, right? That will be hosted in a package managers kind of thing. So if at all like Adobe updates the package, right, it will be updating in the cloud actually. So whenever you put as a dependency, right, it will whenever the application is released as a sprint release or something, it will auto update actually. So based on the dependencies. So that's what here it is there. Like usually for the Flutter, right, we'll be adding it a .aml file. It will have all the dependencies actually. So this is the main part of the Flutter implementation where we have to add all the dependencies actually. So any
Okay.
doubt in this adding the dependencies?
No, no. Vinod, tell me one thing. Let's say I have an extension version 5.0.0 right today, right? So now I'm upgrading it to 6.0.0. Will the extension be automatically updated here?
No. It will not auto update. Let's
Hmm.
example in the next month, right? The company wants to deploy another application,
Hmm.
next sprint release or next version of the application.
Hmm.
Then when they build the application, that time, right, it will update actually, not in real time scenarios.
Okay. So if at all we are again building, let's say after I go live, if at all I'm building anything from the development point of view, and if I am releasing a new one, during the time rather than I go and manually update something, it will automatically update and it will be in my library. So once I push it to production, then it will be like in the live, right? In production. That is what you are saying. That is what auto update you are saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So for that we need to update all these libraries in this particular package.
correct. We have to add that as a dependencies actually. Sometimes what happens is like I've dealt with client actually where they don't want to update SDK automatically, so they will
Hmm.
actually freeze the version actually for
Mhm.
everything. So that also I think we can do it here. We
Okay.
can
Okay.
freeze
Understood.
the version here so
Hmm.
that it doesn't auto update actually. So
Okay. Okay.
that based on
Understood.
the requirement, right? We can do that one. So
Do that. Okay. That is nice to know. Okay. So where
then
did you
yeah.
get all these codes? Where did you get all these codes? Is it there in the tags?
No, the tags, right? They have put only instruction for the native application, not for the Flutter one.
Oh, so it
But
is there in the Adobe documentation then. Is it so? Oh, okay.
yes, it is there.
Um, it is there in Adobe documentation. Okay. Okay, I need to click on Flutter and then I need to Flutter document. So which means I am not going to copy anything from that particular Gradle and do it, right? Rather, I need to go
Correct.
here and get into the Flutter and then I need to do it. Oh, okay.
Yes. They have
Okay.
not added that instruction there. I don't know why. So they have not added there. But I
That's
think it
fine.
will be helpful. Many people will not know that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
So
assume that
then
now
we'll
once I get into I added this package, right? So that is there as a separate package, and then I need to go to the main which is a main library for the application. I need to import all the libraries or modules that is available in the tags in such a way that that is given in the Flutter documentation, not in the interface.
correct. So we'll be importing the Flutter modules in the main thing, and
Okay.
we'll be initializing the SDK. So this is the code that actually that provides the document that initializes the AEP mobile SDK part,
Mm, okay.
where it will also define the initialize with app ID that has that app ID that I showed, right, the development code, that
Correct.
environmental code, right, that will should be updated here. So that will be the integration between this application and the tag,
Okay.
right? So once this the SDKs are initialized, right, then I think we are good to go actually. So then once the SDK is initialized, right, then we will be started collecting that lifecycle metrics, launches, first launch, install, everything actually. So that once that is initialized, then you'll be seeing that events and things getting collected. So I'll just then move on to the next part actually. That will be like sending a event, right? So that is they have put it in a separate page called Edge page.
Mm,
Yeah. So this part. So this particular function, right, called as edge dot send event, right? Uh, like previous So like I don't like how many people know like previous versions of SDK, right? They had like track action and track state. So the track action is sending for non-page view calls and track state for the page view calls. Now with the AEP, right, we don't have that track action or track state, even though it will work. That I will cover later on. But if you want to send it to AEP, right, you have to use this edge dot send event as a new implementation. That this is the main function edge dot send event, which has a experience event, right? That is just an object called experience event that has two parts. One is the XDM data and one is like data part. So here, right, they have actually combined both XDM, right? The XDM data is the one like here actually. It's in the XDM data part. It's like they are calling inside like an array actually. So it'll be like little difficult to understand. But the point is, this is the XDM data. They have just one key and value for now, but we can add multiple keys and values here. So that will be the XDM data, right? And there's like a data part that actually is a non-XDM data. So we can also collect non-XDM data. So
But
apart from
if you send non-XDM data, I guess AEP cannot understand, but analytics can understand because it resembles like a context data. Is it so?
correct, that's
Okay.
the correct understanding. So XDM will be understandable by the AEP. If at all like you don't want to send something in the XDM, right? I want to send something like data that for other tools or even forwarding. I want to just send it to like other platforms, right? You can just use this data part that is not XDM. So
Okay.
both are there, and this experience event object, right, holds this XDM data and the data part. They're combining into an experience event. They're just sending it inside it here. So
But
this is
I
just a
can send
simple.
in one. I can even send XDM data alone if needed, or data alone if needed. Right? Need not be the case that I need to send both the things always together.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just an methodology that they have used here. So you can remove this data part, remove the data here, then just send event experience event. So that XDM will
Okay.
be good. So this is a configuration, right? But let me
Then
just
what is
show
the
the.
dataset ID? I can see that there is something called dataset ID. Where did you copy pasted it? No, we are not copy pasting anything here. Is it so?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Dataset ID, you don't need to define it here. But if you want to override, right, then you have to define it here. Otherwise, it will take from the tags.
Understood. Understood. This is how I guess there is also a question, Vinod, right? I know that in web-based GK, right, we have an option to override. But if at all we need to override anything here, which means this is an option for us, right? I can override any particular data set here. And I can also put a
Correct.
condition saying that for few profiles, send the data set to a different ID. For other things, just go and take the default one that is configured in tags, right? Options are there then. Okay, that is good. Brilliant. Okay.
Okay. Now I'll just show the mobile application also. This is the one, uh, the mobile application, right? The Flutter API SDK. So I'll just go into the edge part
Vinod,
of the
can you
page.
close that right side people? The chat window so that it will be visible to us.
Yeah, just a minute. Now is it visible? I think it's
Correct. Okay, yeah.
so yeah.
At least
So this
okay.
is the application. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is a home page, right? The main dot page. It will have all the modules actually. They have just put a module like a button. Click on a module and you can explore like how they implemented each modules. So that is the purpose of this demo application. So whoever like want to implement the Flutter application, right? I think they can explore this application and see like how the Adobe has implemented each modules. Right.
Okay, okay, understood.
I will go to the
Is this
edge.
application available in our documentation?
Um,
How did
documentation,
you how did
yes.
you get this
They have provided the
application?
GitHub link.
Oh,
They have
GitHub.
provided the
Okay,
GitHub. Yeah.
okay, okay. Then
That I
okay.
think later we can just put it in the chat, the GitHub link, so that everyone can know that.
Yeah, it will be
And when we
helpful
go
if
to the
location. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So when we go to the edge screen, right? So that's where like there's a function called send event. So that we will see. Send, right? I'll just clicking on that send event. So they have just printed the response here. I think people can see that response from the send event. Uh, I will also go to that log cat, right? We have a log cat in Android tools that actually logs the event actually. So whatever the event I sent, right, that will be visible here also. So for if at all like you want to see something, you can filter out. I put Adobe Experience SDK event XDM to filter out only this. Otherwise, you will see all kind of logs here related to the application and things. So
Okay.
okay.
I
One
have,
point.
I guess we have a question, right? Can you just quickly show us, right? How do you went into the edge screen? In the left hand side, the edge screen, right? So you said edge screen, right? How do you went that in the mobile application, within the mobile application?
Edge screen. Okay. So there's like buttons, right? Individual buttons on edge button.
Oh, okay, okay,
So each of the modules has a separate page that has different
okay,
functions that we can call. So edge has many
okay,
functions, but we'll just cover the send event alone for now.
okay, okay. Okay, so if I install this particular app, then I would get to know everything. I can click on Edge and I can go to this particular screen and I can initiate the send event.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
So for now, like I've connected my USB actually. Like I don't know, like if at all like be shown, but I've connected my USB to the phone so that I can see the logs. So once you connect your phone through the USB, right? In Android tools, you will be able to see the logs actually. So whenever the event is sent, right, you will see like dispatched event to the extension thing. So, but it will be very difficult to debug here. So we'll be moving on to the assurance part, like how we can do it in the assurance thing,
Okay.
right?
For debugging, we'll use assurance, right? That is the default one for us now.
Yes. So
Okay.
for assurance, right, we'll be going to the AEP platform again, and inside this menu, right, there will be a assurance menu. So will be this assurance for debugging.
Guys, assurance is there in the left corner, the bottom one, right? Then it was covered with the name,
Yeah.
that's fine. But you know where is assurance, okay?
In the data collection, it will be under the.
Okay. Yes, Vinod.
So
We can
here,
see.
like you just create a session. So that I'll be doing it. So create a new session. Start. So it will ask for a session name. So I'll just give Flutter demo. Which one? So yeah. So the base URL, right? Like for the applications, right? They will have a base URL actually that we call as deep link actually. So the developers would have configured a deep link for application. So for this application, right, Adobe has put this as a deep link. So that we can
So
get it from the
this which means this base URL we need to get it from the product developer, right? A developer. So either it's a
correct
iOS or Android, they would have definitely have their
deep
base
link.
URL. So we just need to go and get it from them. Okay.
Yes. So you click on the next one. So it will give actually a QR code, or you can just copy the link. So the copy the link will have the deep link and the session ID actually for this particular session. So if at all like you can copy and you just put that link in the mobile application, sorry, mobile, right? You can just click and open the application there.
Okay.
It's because it's a deep link, right? So I'll just copy this link. I will just
Okay.
put it in my mobile. So if at all like if like anybody has a questions, right, you can ask actually. I'll just copy paste that.
Yeah, I'm just going through the questions. Data layer. Okay, the question. Okay, let's go from the chronological order then. To data stream, I already answered. You can definitely even Vinod showed that there is an option to override the data stream. As you have not added a data stream, data would not be stored in AAP dataset. Yes, it won't be stored. Explain data elements and see rules and data element for mobile application is not needed. The reason is we are not going to trigger anything from the rules point of view inside Adobe tags. Adobe tag is mainly to configure the extension. Need not to be the case that it has to be even tags as well, right? Because we need the modules to get the modules rather than we go on get into the individual modules and get it pasted. We are using right, but there are some cases where we want to manipulate the data. During the time we can use the rules data elements, but other cases that is not needed. Mostly, if you go to any mobile implementation, you don't see data elements and rules
Oh,
there. It is initiated from the page itself. Vinod, are you ready?
Arun, just a minute. Can you hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Just give me a 2 minutes, Arun.
Okay.
I'm copying that deep link.
Okay. You need to put it as an HTML and then you need to open, right? I don't know.
But in the message, right, I can't actually click on that or I can't copy anything. So,
Okay.
just looking at
Can you scan the QR code? No? No option?
just a minute. Just give me.
Okay. Okay.
I think
No,
again,
no,
I have
take
to
your
type
time.
it.
Yeah, we have 3 more minutes, but that's fine. It's just about validation. No. Are you really typing it?
I don't think like I have an option to send something to the mobile.
Okay, fine.
You know, like network
Correct, correct. That's fine.
security, everything.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. How many seconds it is going to take? Just type it. That's fine. Guys, let me know if at all any of your question is unanswered. I know that Krishna Sai asked any which field group schema need to map to be video play. I can check out Krishna. I don't have it on top of my mind right now, but I can check out and let you know. Let me know if at all any of your question is not answered so that I can help you. Make sure that you copy first and then hit enter. Okay, then it will go for a toss, even if it is a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. I think Arun, I'm not able to paste it. Let's see, like whether I can show the previous logs.
Oh, you cannot paste it? Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay.
So this is the assurance UI, right? So whenever I show the deep link, right? So whenever you open the deep link, right, using that particular session ID, and whatever the actions you do in the application, right, it will be visible here in real time actually. So it will have all the events. So yesterday I just tested it, right? So we'll have all the life cycle pass, life cycle start, application launch, collect data is the one I would send, right? So it will have all the logs data, and we are also like that event transactions, right? That what like we send the events, right? Send event. So if you want to view that alone, you can go to that event transaction, and you can just look at that event alone. So whatever the event is sent, right? So I'll just show that also.
Okay, that's good.
So it will have all the events, upstream data stream, hit received, and everything.
But since
So
because we didn't configure any of the services, there is no downstream at all here. It is just
yeah,
about
yeah, it's
separate to
not
the
there.
data stream. Ah, okay.
So in the events itself, like we can actually see all the data, right? Like if at all like the XDM is there, it will be there in the.
Can you show life cycle something? So that let me see what is that data stream. Oh, this is context
Yeah,
data.
yeah.
Ah,
Life cycle pass is the one.
so it's a pass. So all these things are automatically captured. So we just need to ensure that that particular schema values are added, then everything is captured there automatically. We need not go and do it separately, right? So all these default events. So attributes, okay. Data stream ID is here. Okay, whatever the data stream ID. Okay. Do you want to click on the left side analytics events, Vinod? Let's see analytics events. What is that? That is the sample. Can you click on anything?
Yeah. So this is the XDM that I showed, right? The event type and sample event type, right? So it will be shown like this. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So
So
whatever
whatever is
I
there.
as a constant context data or XDM, so everything is now pushed to the edge. So if at all I can come in and connect the assurance, I can see all these events, the events that I have sent. Also, it will have all the events like life start cycle, life cycle events, right? So all these events are also
Hmm.
sent. Those are default metrics, so which means that whatever data we are not sending any data there, but rather we are sending it as a separate event, and these are the data that has been sent there, so we were able to see it. Okay, that's nice. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
So I think for assurance itself, like we have to take a separate meet around, because they have like many functionalities that we have
Mm.
to go. We can't cover in a short period.
That's fine. That's fine. See,
Yeah.
within 1 hour, we covered important steps, right? So, we know just to give right rewind it back, right? So we went to schemas, we defined the schemas, right? So I guess Rajalakshmi was asking for show that schema, right? Quickly while I rewind, right? Can you show the schemas to everyone, right? First I go create the schemas. For creating a schema I need to add the experience event, and then I need to add the field groups, that is especially for mobile application, that is given as you said. So that is the first step we have done it, and then we went into data stream, created a data stream. We didn't add the service, but if needed, we can add any service. And then we get into mobile tags, add whatever the extensions you have said, put the data stream into one of the extension, and it is ready. And then we are not going to copy anything there. Rather, what we will do is we'll go and take the go to the Adobe's documentation, go to the Flutter, since because we are Flutter, right? So go to the Adobe documentation. Flutter, there are implementation steps, right? We just need to take
Yes.
that, put it into our main dot, right? A main dot, and initiate the send event, right? So are you initiating the send event in the main dot, or is it a different screen?
It's a different screen around, like the main page will have the buttons, just the buttons actually, but the call, right, send event is placed in the edge page. not there. So
Okay,
like,
the edge page, which means that in our application we can say that it is like a page, right? Every page we need to
yeah,
go and add this particular event, right? So library
function.
is there in main dot, but anything which we want to send it based on the pages, we need to go into that particular page, add that there, and initiate the send event.
Correct. Correct. But
Okay,
the
super, right?
methodology to implement, right? We have to leave the best practice to the app developers around. Like, if at all, like,
Okay, yeah.
I've seen the app developers doing like a smart thing. Like, they don't put this particular event right directly here in each page. Actually, they might
No, that's
use
fine.
some
If it is
other
a dynamic,
functions. Yeah.
hmm. Sorry. Go on, Anand. Sorry, I was like fast forward.
What they generally do is like they have like a analytics schedule kind of thing, so they will send the data there, and from there they will just call this function. So we will leave it to the app developer actually, but the point is we have to make this call for each of the page.
Okay. So like in web data, rather than sending this or rather than putting all the values from every page, we can create a consolidated library or like what do you say general library, right? One particular library which is common across all the pages and dynamically pass the value. Anything is fine, but we will leave it to the developer. So what they need to do is right whenever any action or any click or any screen is changed, they need to send the event. That is what the requirement for us.
Correct.
Good, which means after we contact, we copy pasted those things, we initiated the event. When we initiated the event, we saw the logs on the page as well. And then we get into the assurance, we will connect everything and we will see whether the tags are firing or not. These are the steps. Okay, good for me, very clear.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
opened the schema.
Okay, can you open this application? So this application is a fleet group, is it so?
Sorry, application is a.
This application, is it a field group? This application, crashes, closes and everything?
Yeah.
Click on assign. It's a consumer experience event group. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
This consumer experience will have all this one, and I think the experience will have that web details and everything.
Okay. This is like the
Yeah,
base.
sorry.
This is a class and then the field group. The one, which means rather let me the only field group that has been added here is consumer experience event. Nothing more than that. There is no custom event that is added or anything else. I guess we are using the direct experience event object rather than anything else. Do we since because it is a consumer experience event? Do we have a prop evas here, Vinod? No, right?
No
No. This
props.
is
No.
no props, no evas here. Okay.
Yeah,
Usually, that is also then that is also one more field group, right, which has props and evas. That is
correct. That
something
will be
analytics experience event,
yeah.
right?
No,
Something. Adobe Analytics. Search for analytics. Okay. That is experience event template. Adobe Analytics experience event template. But we didn't use this template because it's a mobile application. So for a web, we would have used this because it can directly go and store it as a EVR and prop. But since because it is a mobile application, even earlier we were not setting it as a EVR and prop, rather we were setting as a context data. So now rather
correct.
than context data, now we have two objects. One is XDM as well as data object. Data object we can send it anywhere. XGM object can be directly mapped with AEP, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vinod. Thank you for the demo. That's brilliant, man. Thanks for showing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really
Sorry
shut.
for not showing it live actually, but I think we can cover the assurance part in a separate virtual meet also.
Definitely next time we will cover and let's go for okay, during our virtual session. Let's try to cover that.
Sure.
Okay, let me share, right? Okay, guys, which means we are nearing it is already like 10 more minutes. Sorry for that, guys. So I'm just sharing my screen. So we just have some sort of images for you, right? Screenshot for you because we want to send this particular document to you directly. So most of the questions and all these things already I have given you the answer. So you should have seen it, right? So and one important thing which I want to tell you is I know within 1 hour we would have not covered a lot of things or we would have covered a lot of things, but good thing is this is recorded. So after this particular session, right, you would receive a mail where we will host this particular recording in the YouTube channel, which means at any time, if you have any questions related to building an app and everything, always go refer back this particular video. You can understand, right? So make use of it. And yes, so every summit, even last time, wow, definitely yes, Neil, right? We will share the deck after this particular session. The session wrap up will have all the session, everything shared it over to you, right? So wait for a day or two, because we have spent a lot of time this week to ensure that we have shown this implementation for you. So give us 1 or 2 days. Before Monday, you should get the deck. And yeah, so last time also we have revealed the date. Last time what we said that we will go for 12th April, but unfortunately it was delayed for a week. But this time it will be an in-person meeting, and it will be on 24th May, where that is going to be a ask, and let keep it right now, let it be a secret, right? So the plan is to have either in Chennai or else in Bangalore, but the location and the timing will be revealed soon to you, right? Mostly it will be on Saturday, so that people either from Chennai or either from Bangalore can come and attend, right? We are at least planning for more than 100 people. So if everything goes out well, we would definitely see you all in Bangalore, right? Bangalore is what we were really thriving for it, but we are pretty not sure. Sometimes we can fall back to our own user group meetup in Chennai as well, right? But most probably it's Bangalore, right? 24th May. I know that it is a summer holidays, but please ensure that it's an in-person meeting. So if at all we want to connect, right? We have seen a lot of people. Unfortunately, I cannot see a lot of people, right? Who were talked, we would ask all these questions, right? I didn't see. So if at all we want to network, exchange things, a lot of things, right? Please comment. We will also see whether we can co-host along with the Adobe campaign group if possible. But the 24th May is a confirmed date. Rest of the things we will share you, and please follow my profile so that I can definitely share you all these details beforehand. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you so much for everything, and it was nice meeting you all, and great questions from the people, right? See you in next user group meeting on 24th May.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Vinod.
Thanks, Arun.
Thanks, Vinod. See you then. Bye, guys. Bye. See you. Take care.